Okay, Anna. Thanks very much for all the information that you provided, right? I know it was really hard for you to get through that. And you told me a lot of really helpful and important things that I can use to help you stay safe. Okay. So
Okay.
at this point, I want to help develop a plan with you. And your thoughts, your opinions, what you have to say here is really important to me, right? Because this is going to help us. This is going to help me help you stay safe. So today we're going to develop a plan, and this is called a safety plan. So imagine if you were in an ocean and there was nothing else around, and you've been swimming and you're tired and you're starting to give up hope. This would be like your life preserver that keeps you alive, that keeps you safe. When you're having trouble staying afloat in the ocean. Okay, and
Okay.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it out for you. So it's on this piece of paper, and as you talk, I'm going to write it out for you, and then I'm going to take a picture with my phone, and I'm going to email it over to you. And then when it's done, you mentioned to me earlier that you're okay with letting one of your friends be part of the safety plan, and so you can also send it to them as well too, and let them know what's going on with you. And if you're in crisis, you can reach out to them if you're not able to reach out to anyone else. Does that sound okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Anna. So the first question, well, the first thing that it says on the safety plan is just to remind yourself that when you're feeling distressed, when you're feeling suicidal, follow the plan step by step until you're safe and calm. Keep the plan where it's easy to find it. And so when I send you a copy of it to like when I send you a picture to your phone, I would suggest keeping that picture on your phone. So if you need it, your phone's always there and you can just look it up on your phone. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it says this right at the top, but just remind yourself that these thoughts, these feelings will pass. Feelings get intense and then feelings decrease over time, right? And the things that are in this plan will help you decrease the intensity of your feelings so that you can think straight and stay well. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So the first question on here is about becoming aware of when you're in crisis. A lot of people, when they start to get into a state of crisis or distress, they try to avoid paying attention to it. It's really painful. They don't want to think about it, um, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse until they're at like 10 out of 10 distress, right? So if you're at like a 7 or an 8 on your distress level, what would be going on with you? Like, first of all, what would be the thoughts, the feelings, and the physical sensations that would be going on with you that would show someone else that you're in a crisis?
Um, Typically, my heart starts to beat really fast,
Mhm.
and my chest starts to feel tight. So maybe my breathing might be a little more labored.
Okay.
Um, my hands start to shake. I have had some of my friends comment that the color goes out of my cheeks.
Mhm.
Um, and I usually feel like I have to sit down.
Okay.
Um, so I think it's pretty evident when I'm going through something.
Yeah, that takes a lot of
Mhm.
self-awareness. Thank you for telling me that. I'm noting all of this down, and I'm also wondering, like, would if you were, let's say, on your own at home, what would you be doing? Would you be like pacing? Would you be isolating yourself? Would you be crying or shaking or just feeling numb? What would be going on for you?
Usually pacing.
Pacing? Okay.
I pace a lot. Yeah, and I do cry quite often. It's usually when I'm by myself though.
Okay. And do you always like self-harm or like cut yourself when you're feeling distressed, or is it just sometimes?
It's pretty often. It's
Okay.
been pretty often lately.
Okay. And
Hmm.
so you would be pacing in your room, you'd be like shaking, hard to breathe, increased heart rate. Maybe you'd be like hurting yourself or thinking about like cutting yourself. And you'd be having these thoughts of like overdose. Is that right?
Hmm.
Okay. And what have you done in the past that's helped you cope or calm down so that you don't end up hurting yourself or you don't end up acting on suicidal thoughts?
Um, I've tried to call someone
Hmm.
before, one of my friends. Um, I've tried to go outside before, and
Hmm.
that sometimes helps. But talking to someone usually is the best to help.
Okay. Yeah, and we're gonna list out like people that you can call and talk to. But first, I'm just wondering things that you could do on your own. Like, is there a safe place that you can go in your house where you would never hurt yourself, or a safe place in your neighborhood, or that's easy to get to?
My room in my house, I have like a place on my bed
Mhm.
that I read in. That's like my safe space.
Okay. And like, can you read when you're in that kind of state?
Sometimes it depends on how bad it is, like what kind of day it's been.
Okay. So yeah, it sounds like sometimes when you're distressed, you are able to like read and focus. Other times you have to go somewhere or call someone. What about playing with your cat or like petting your cat or like, cleaning up after your cat? Does that help you distract at all?
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
Okay.
he's a really good distraction and he's a good companion.
Good, good. And is there anything else that you've done in the past that's like interrupted these kind of suicidal thoughts, or maybe a time when you thought about or you were about to hurt yourself but you didn't?
Um, I've tried to put on music, and
Mhm.
music really helps.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
great. So music, your cat, reading, calling someone, going to a safe place. Is there anything else that's helped you distract or that you think could be a good distraction technique?
Um, I have tried um, doing artwork.
Hmm.
Like I've
Great.
tried painting, and
Oh,
that's helped me in the past too.
that's great. Yeah, it sounds like you have a lot of skills that's helped you get through difficult times, right? How about, earlier when you were starting to get really emotional, I showed you a grounding skill where you like took some deep breaths, you paid attention to things that you could see, that you could touch, taste, smell. Could that be helpful for you at all?
Yeah, I felt like that really helped.
Okay, great. I'm going to include that in your safety plan as well too. Okay. And now, who are your supportive people? Who could you call in a time of need? Like, first of all, who could you call if you were in a crisis and you needed to talk to someone about the crisis?
Um, my friends.
Hmm.
So my friend Liz, and my other friend Jess,
Okay.
and then my mom.
Okay. Great. And is there anyone that, let's say, maybe isn't so close to you, but that you could call, not to talk about what's like the problems in your life, but that you could just talk about something else with to distract you? Like maybe someone that isn't as close to you that you wouldn't discuss the suicidal thoughts with, but that you could still call, like if you needed someone to talk to. Is there anyone else like
Um,
that in your life?
yeah, I have a coworker, Caitlin.
Okay. Cool. And you guys
Hmm.
could talk about work or something as well, right?
Hmm.
Okay, good. Um, and have you ever considered calling like a crisis line or a support line for help?
I've thought about it. I've never really done it.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, right? Because sometimes, our friends and family might want to help us, but they might not know what to say or might not know how to be helpful. And so I think the first step could be to call a crisis line. If you're feeling suicidal, if you want to hurt yourself in any way, call the crisis line and ask them what you should do. And, go through the safety plan with them, tell them what's going on with you. And there are skilled professionals there who help people like yourself all the time who know exactly what to say. So does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. And then maybe after you can call one of your friends or you can call your mom and that could help you cope even more. Sounds good?
Hmm.
Okay. So I'll list the phone number of a crisis line in here as well. Is there any other professionals, like any other people in your life, like your doctor, or any other like workers that you've had that could be helpful to put in here?
My doctor.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. And
she's wonderful. Yeah.
okay, good. You like your doctor, you have a good relationship with her.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'll put your doctor's contact information in here too. And remember, after this appointment, I do recommend you follow up with your doctor just to let them know what's going on with you. And some people find talking to their doctor could be helpful. The doctor might recommend some medication or not. And it's also good to get a checkup, right? Because there could be something physically going on with you that might be contributing to these kinds of feelings and thoughts. And so it's good to get a checkup as well too. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And when you call these people, like let's say you were to call your friends, how could they help you? Like what could they say?
Um, I mean, they're like my safe space. You know, I find like Liz always makes me laugh, even when there's a lot going on. And I don't know, they both have a way of talking to me that helps bring me down.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's just, I don't know, talking about like our friendship or things that have happened, but they just know me well enough to help. I don't know, we've just been so close for so long.
So you think maybe like talking about the past, talking about good times in the past could be a good distraction for you?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it sounds like just listening to you and feeling heard is important too, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Yeah, because sometimes, family and friends, they don't know what to do or say. And when this is in the safety plan, it kind of gives them a guide as well too of what they can do to be supportive.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can keep adding to this as well too in the future. If something comes up, feel free to keep adding to it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And in terms of like what you want to happen for your life and your future, what would you say are, first of all, the things that are your responsibilities, the things that you know you have to do every day to stay well?
Um, I mean, I know I have to take care of myself,
Mhm.
take care of Binks. Um, I mean, get up, go to school, prepare meals for myself, and I guess check in with friends and family too.
Okay, great. And like I guess in terms of taking care of yourself, like taking a shower, cleaning your
Mhm.
place, going to work, all that kind of stuff is important to your daily responsibilities, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it depends on the day, but there's different things each day. So that's something it's nice that it changes.
Yeah. And what else
Mhm.
do you look forward to? What are the things that like, will be a sign of a good day?
Um, I find even just if the sun's shining, it's usually makes a big difference.
Yeah,
If I get to see some of my classmates, if I get to walk to school, that's always a good day too.
great.
Little things like that.
Sounds good. And like it's great when it is sunny outside. If it's not so sunny, if it's like a cloudy or cold or rainy day, or is there anything that like, you look forward to at the end of the day or like things that kind of get you through the tough times those days?
Um, Usually like walking and listening to my headphones, listening to music.
Perfect. Is there any
Um,
kind of music that you love to listen to that kind of takes you to a better place?
uh, Taylor Swift.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Taylor Swift sounds good.
Yeah.
Um, Great. Okay, so it sounds like you have your playlist ready. And in terms of like any physical health issues that are going on for you, like is there any kind of health problems you've been having lately that you might need to get checked out with your doctor? Or like any medications that you're taking right now?
Um, so I feel like I might have some kind of gut issues going on, but I think that
Okay.
might be tied to anxiety and stress.
Mhm.
So I have been meaning to get that checked out because I think it's all tied together.
Okay.
And it does make things really hard some days. Like I feel like I can't eat much or certain things.
Yeah. Is eating something like eating 3 meals a day part of your self-care and like something that is important to take care of yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I try. I find sometimes I'm eating more like just little snacks throughout the day because I'm either forgetting or not spending the time on myself like I should be.
Yeah.
So
I
I
understand.
have to make more of an effort to
Yes.
make meals for myself.
Sure. Okay, that makes sense, and I'm glad that you're aware of that. Um, in terms of the alcohol and cannabis use, right? Do you have any goals around that, or like, do you have any thoughts about, making changes in those areas?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to. I'd like to cut it out if I can. Both smoking weed and drinking. Alcoholism's in my family, and
Mhm.
I don't want that on to have that in my life. It just kind of I just kind of fell into it, and I would like to cut both out as easily as I can.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think that makes a lot of sense. Because, when you do drink, your risk to do something impulsive or to hurt yourself um, increases, right? Like the part of your brain that says, "Hey, that's not a good idea. Maybe you shouldn't do that," becomes quieter and quieter the more you drink. And so it's important to consider the links between alcohol and impulsive behavior. And the less that you drink, the more you cut back. Um, the safer you'll be able to keep yourself, right? It's similar with cannabis as well too. Like the more control that you have over that, the less you do it. Um, the less risk you are to yourself, and also the more responsibly you be doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also something to talk about with your doctor, like the self-harm, the alcohol use, the cannabis use. It's all a way to cope, right? It's a kind of short-term way to numb yourself, to not think about your problems. Um, and at the same time, you do that, you might feel better for a little while, and in the long term, your brain just learns that you need those things to feel better. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. Makes a lot of sense.
So what's the solution to that?
Um, I guess it would be like conditioning my brain or replacing those with positive things instead of something negative.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Replacing those things with good people in your life, good conversation, with like a cup of tea or like something that gives you some pleasure and some enjoyment, but not uh, something that like completely numbs you, right? And like, especially things like exercise and physical activity is really important. Do you do any physical activities that make you feel good, or any sports or anything like that?
No, no sports. I used to do yoga and Pilates and things like that, but I haven't lately.
Yeah,
But it would be something good to get back into it.
let me put that in your plan as well too, right? Because like part of this is a safety plan, but also part of this is a prevention plan and a living well plan, right? And it sounds like doing yoga, eating well, doing Pilates are part of the things in your life that keep you well. And so I'd encourage you to get back into that as a way of like, having a more hopeful future, and taking care of your body as well as taking care of your mind. What do you think about that?
Yeah, yeah, I'd really like to try again.
Okay. Yeah, and is there anything that you would not want to happen if you're in a crisis? Anything you can think of?
Um, I mean, I wouldn't want to reach out to someone and have them brush me off
Hmm.
or not have time. It's happened in the past and it's hard.
Yeah, that's awful. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear
Yeah.
that. I think that's totally fair. And I think that it's all the more reason to make sure you have good people you can reach out to, and making sure that you reach out to that crisis line and people that might not that know how to support you, right? And it sounds like your friends are great people for that. Um, and I'm wondering if you did really want to end your life and you had a plan to do it and you intended to do that, would you go to the hospital?
Yeah, yeah, I think I would. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's an important
Hmm.
step. And I'm going to put that in here as well, too, that if you're feeling out of control and you've done everything in the safety plan and you still want to end your life, that's the time to go to the hospital and make sure that you tell a crisis worker and a physician there what's going on with you. And they'll help keep you safe for a little while. They'll offer you some treatment. And then, when you're feeling better, when you can tell them that you're not going to hurt yourself, that's when they'll let you go. Right. So all the hospital does is make sure that you're safe. And so we want to make sure that we can continue to work on your positive vision for your future and your goals, doing better in school, making new friends, doing like feeling less anxious and depressed, stopping the cutting, all those kinds of things I want to help you with. But it's hard to do that if these suicidal thoughts and the self-harm keep getting in the way of your positive vision for your future. So, I always say hope for the best and plan for the worst. And this plan will help you prevent those things from happening. But I just want
Mhm.
to check in with you right now. How are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? Like, how stressed do you feel or distressed?
Uh, I don't know, like zero right
Yeah.
now. I feel pretty good.
Yeah. And it sounds like, having this plan, has that changed the way that you feel about yourself and your ability to keep yourself safe?
Yeah, yeah, I feel heard and yeah, I feel safer.
That's wonderful. Yeah, and it sounds like at this point, your intention or like your thoughts of hurting yourself have decreased with developing this kind of like vision for your future and this plan. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel pretty good right now.
Good. Well, Anna, like I want to thank you for doing this plan with me. I want to let you know that I'm here for you, and this is just the first step to getting better. And I'm glad that we did this today. And this is just going to be like hopefully something that we never really have to look back on. But there is a lot of good stuff in here about like how to stay well and how to get better and how to have a good day, right? And so I encourage you to
Mhm.
look it over, whether you're having a good day or a bad day, and keep yourself positive. Do those things that make you stay well, right? Like talk to your friends, do the yoga, eat well, take care of yourself, take care of Binks, and let's book our next appointment. And I just want to check in, like between now and our next appointment in 2 weeks, you feel like you can keep yourself safe?
Yeah, yeah, I
Okay.
do.
Yeah, and maybe like in our next appointment, we can check in about the suicidal thoughts, but I also want to focus on the self-harm. Do you think that's something we can talk about, like ways to kind of distract away from or um, manage those feelings of pain without you actually hurting yourself?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's wonderful. And is there anything else that you want to talk about today or anything else I can help you with?
No, no, I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, no problem. It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for being so open and honest with me. And we're going to keep this going, right? And you just remember this is something that we're building on together, and I'm going to be here for you through this. Okay. So thanks so much for your time today, Anna.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
You too.